is the Hot Zone. Engaging with the news in a whole new way, international war correspondent Chuck Holton brings insight into areas of crisis and lets you help those affected.
Since 11 September 2001, when 19 radical Islamists hijacked 4 commercial airliners and murdered nearly 3,000 innocents here in America, fanatical jihadis have perpetrated more than 25,000 terror attacks around the globe. From the British Isles across the heartland of Europe all the way to St. Petersburg on the Baltic, attacks are increasing and altering the social and cultural fabric of an entire continent. European political leaders are now confronted by a backlash against liberal immigration and refugee policies that many believe are responsible for the spike in terrorist atrocities. Our Frontlines team traveled to Paris, where jihadi attacks and open borders are hot-button issues that may lead to a dramatic political shift.
Europe is undergoing a massive transformation as millions of immigrants surge north out of Africa, the Middle East, and Asia, drawn by the prospect of generous social programs and a better way of life. In the last few years, the numbers have been staggering. 1.8 million migrants in 2015 alone, and it's causing tensions among the EU member states as countries like Greece, Hungary, and Sweden shoulder a disproportionate share of the burden. And a corresponding uptick in immigrant-related violence has spawned a populist uprising that is sweeping the continent. Paris, France, once synonymous with romantic getaways, fine dining, and world-renowned artwork. In recent years, however, it's become better known for horrific scenes like Charlie Hebdo, the Bataclan Theater, and other massacres, all with one thing in common: radical Islamic jihad.
Well, of course, the French culture has been changed. Society is becoming more and more violent. A culture of confrontation has been important in France. It's not only the responsibility of the immigration, it's the responsibility of the politicians who have really hidden the topic, who have refused to confront it. They were not taking responsibility to tell the truth to the people and trying to assimilate these people.
Our government became too much social. Those people, they come here and they want it all, they want it now, and the government to give to those people what a lot of people, French people, don't have.
It makes heavier the burden for the other people who are working, and then it attracts people who want to live on this welfare state. You're losing the best, you're getting, I won't say the worst, but you're getting people who want to live with the welfare state. The balance is broken.
Tensions are high in France, which has seen more than one terror attack per month since the terrible attacks on the Bataclan Theater and National Sports Arena in 2015. But French politicians are convinced the best way to combat this violent trend is to keep French citizens unarmed. We just found a gun store here. All of these guns you see, though, are not real. They have guns that fire blanks, they have airsoft, and they have BB guns, as well as some hunting rifles. But it's not possible to buy a pistol here in France. We went yesterday to Bataclan. Those attackers used rifles, grenades, and explosive vests. All of those things are illegal in France. If I live here and I want to get a pistol and protect myself, I'm not allowed to do that. You have to understand the culture in the United States. It's much, much different. I mean, I carry a pistol everywhere in the United States. I go to the bank with a pistol. I go to church with a pistol.
Well, then you can defend yourself if a bad guy is coming. That's right. That's the problem we had at the Bataclan. I mean, the bullets were coming only from one side. Nobody could fire back.
I realize the culture is very different here, but has there been any talk about I should be able to defend myself?
Well, this is not a debate. This is not in the public debate.
No.
I mean, if I raise this issue, I would be considered as a nutcase. You know, the guy's insane. Okay, it just doesn't make sense.
It's not even
it's not an option. It's nobody. I mean, not a single candidate at the presidential election would come and say, look, I want to make you be able to carry a gun. You know, I've spent so much time in the States, so I really understand the difference. and how it seemed bizarre. But, I mean, had people had guns at the Bataclan, it would have been a different story.
Anti-government rioting has also swept the nation, and there are some places around Paris the police say they just won't go. That means citizens in these areas are left with no good options for protecting their families, as the government's ineffectiveness has been shown during recent violent protests.
The police has not the ability to stop the rioters. They don't have the right to fight back. So this is why you can see all these cops, for example, when they're torching their cars with a policeman inside. That's insane. And the policeman who just went out of the car and who didn't fight back against the rioters got the Medal of Honor from the French Minister of Interior, which is absurd. I mean, the guy has been praised for not responding to the rioters.
They're not being allowed to even defend themselves against the rioters?
Not only that, their recommendation is don't defend, don't fight back, and if you get hurt, you'll get a medal.
Fox News coined the term no-go zones in France. The rest of the mainstream media has jumped on them and said that's fake, that's not true, there's no such thing. Is it true or not?
Well, ask the police. Ask the police if they want to get in some areas. Ask the firemen, ask the ambulances. They know they can't get there because they will first create more turmoil, and second, they will be under assault in some areas. They don't want to take the risk, so these are no-go zones.
They exist. They don't like to see police there. When police officer, patrol police goes there, they send them things with fire or big,
they get attacked.
Stuff. They get attacked. People are afraid. They are afraid.
Well, that's no way to live.
It's not. It's not a way to live.
We traveled around Paris to several of the so-called no-go zones. We were warned not to be seen filming in those areas, so we used hidden cameras to record what we saw.
No police. No police.
You don't let the police in here?
Yeah.
No police.
Police ici. Police ici. Stop.
So we were just approached by these two young men while we were filming, and between my broken French and their broken English, they communicated to us that we had to be careful filming around there because there was a lot of drug trafficking, and that if the police showed up, it would get very bad between them and the police. They did not appreciate police presence, and that if there was police in the area, that there would be a fight. While on the outside, things don't look that bad in this neighborhood, under the surface, there are some tensions that are right at the boiling point.
We need to transform our internal and foreign policy. You cannot deal with terrorists outside and fight terrorism inside. These are the same. I can't tell you how many people coming from Syria would become terrorists here, but I can tell you that the huge majority of these people coming to Europe don't want to live the way we live. They don't want to adopt our European way of life. They're pretending that they're fleeing a country and societies which are living under Sharia law, but they're trying, when they're getting here, to impose this kind of social order.
Those people that don't feel comfortable here and the way the French people, European people live, I think they just have to just go back to their home.
How does it make you feel that those people don't want to go back to where their worldview is normal? They want to make you live like they live. They want to change the way you live.
I will never do that. If a third war comes, I will be the resistance. I will be Matahara, trust me. No, that will never, no.
You're not going to wear a burqa?
I will not, never.
It was clear during our visit that France is facing a crisis of culture that may not be reversible. And there are some unsettling similarities with issues we're facing back in the U.S. And unless our people can effectively defend our Second Amendment rights against those who would disarm us, we may be facing a very similar future.
The next time you hear someone say you don't need a firearm for self-protection, show them this video. You see, in this nation, we're blessed to have the finest police and law enforcement personnel in the world. They do an extraordinary and often thankless job trying to protect us from vicious attacks like those happening with increasing frequency overseas. In the United States, Thanks to the NRA's steadfast support for the Second Amendment, we don't have to be passive prey to predators of any kind. Here in America, we have a constitutional right to self-defense against imminent evil. And that may well be the difference between life and death when seconds count and the police are minutes away.
By Amy Holton and Livefire Media.
Copyright 2021.